Conference. This is the 7th time that I've come to this rostrum as First Minister and leader of the Labour Party in Wales. And if seven is a lucky number, then there has never been anybody who feels luckier than I do to be here again with you today after my all too well publicised heart problems on the 7th day of the 7th month of 2007. But at least now I'm one of the very few political leaders around who've got photographic proof that I have actually got a heart. So yes, Conference, I'm a walking, talking tribute to the brilliant quality of care you get from NHS Wales, just as Nye Bevan intended. Now, personally and politically, 2007 has undoubtedly been a very challenging year. But we faced that challenge, we've survived the crisis, and we're here again, fighting fit and still in charge. So yes, don't forget, there are actually 2 government administrations in the UK where Labour is in charge. There's Gordon and his big tent, and me and my tent that's so big it's actually called a coalition with Plaid Cymru. But that's my main message to you this afternoon. Whatever else you may have heard, Labour remains at the helm in Wales, with a Labour First Minister, a Labour Minister in charge of our health service, a Labour Minister in charge of education, a Labour Minister in charge of local government and social justice, a Labour Minister in charge of the environment, and a Labour Minister in charge of our finances and public services. Of course, in those difficult days after May's elections, there might have been a very different outcome. If we had not held our nerve and stuck to our political guns, then yes, believe it or not, the Tories would have been back in office in Wales. And make no mistake, in the big picture, it is the Tories who remain the historic enemy of working people in this country. The historic enemy of fairness, fundamentally averse to good public services, and wholly out of touch with the values of the people of Wales. For Conference, how could anybody who has watched Calamity Cameron at work this summer, since Gordon Brown became our leader and Prime Minister, fail to conclude that while Gordon is already well on his way to becoming a great Prime Minister, the other is already on his way to the job centre? That very special job centre for former failed ex-Tory leaders to join that queue of John Major, William Hague, Ian Duncan Smith, Michael Howard, and shortly David Cameron as well. Yes, yes, Cameron. Conference, Calamity Cameron will soon become Dole Q Dave. Now that's why we were so determined earlier this summer not to allow Tory ministers back into power through the back door. The price of that determination is sharing power with another party in the Assembly government. And here too, Conference, we were clear that being willing to share power at the Assembly was not about hanging on to office, but about being able to put our programme into action. So Labour Assembly ministers are now at work regenerating our deprived communities, tackling child poverty, putting action on climate change at the heart of government policy, implementing the most radical reform of our early years education, and removing the last vestiges of the internal market in the Welsh Health Service. And over the next 4 years, we will make maximum use of the Assembly's new powers, thanks to the Government of Wales Act 2006, agreed at our party conference in 2004, supported in the 2005 general election victory, and delivered by the Labour team at Westminster, magnificently led by Peter Hain. And we were able to do all this, Conference, because of the 10-year project that has been this party's dedication to devolution. Devolution gives us quite simply the best of both worlds for our people. It puts power in Welsh hands to deal with our domestic affairs while retaining all our shared British Labour values. It gives us the advantage then of being part of the 4th largest economy in the world and one of the big member states of the EU. Now, Wales has changed so much for the better in so many ways since devolution in 1999. Dole queues now down to 40,000 and falling. Jobs up by 146,000, the fastest rise in household income of any part of the United Kingdom. Infant mortality rates now the lowest in the United Kingdom. But looking back over the last 8.5 years is not what Welsh Labour is all about. It's about the next 8.5 years of creating a full employment society with another 146,000 extra jobs. It's about a high-skill knowledge economy. Yes, we now have outstanding international companies like IBM, Motorola, General Dynamics, EADS, GE Healthcare and others developing intellectual property, not just manufacturing widgets in Wales. There were no such names in Wales 10 years ago. It's about the elimination of child poverty. It's about the reduction in the number of workless households. It's about catching up on household income levels. Now, Wales has had to come from behind in all these areas, but we are now catching up fast. That's what Welsh Labour is all about. And working with the UK government in that Labour-led partnership to deliver the giant Defence Training Academy in St Athan in South Wales and the Airbus A350 XWB in North Wales, the pillars of an even more successful economy. And now that we have the early approval of our European Structural Funds programmes to go on to deliver the £3 billion investment involved over the next 7 years, that's what Welsh Labour is for. Now, it's not for me to speculate on when a general election is going to come. But whenever it might be, we will be straining every sinew to make sure that we get the biggest possible squad of Welsh Labour MPs returned to the House of Commons to represent the hard-working people of Wales. That's what Welsh Labour is for. Because we know that Labour's mission is not yet complete. We've all got work to do ahead of us. But that's why we're here, if you can forgive the pun, right at the heart of the party, so that when that starting pistol is fired, we know our job, my job, and your job is to ensure that Wales plays its full part in delivering another term and a full term for Gordon and his team. That's what Welsh Labour is for. And personally, fighting fit and ready for the fray, I can hardly wait for it to happen. Thank you very much, Conference. Thank you.